What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since '03 and starting to get cautiously optimistic about this Pistons team. The Pistons are currently 7-9 and have a chance to just be one game under 500 after tonight if they are able to beat the Charlotte Hornets in what I would consider to be a revenge game. The Pistons, of course, already played the Hornets just a couple weeks ago, where Brandon Miller had a putback buzzer beater to win the game with like zero point 0.5 seconds left on the clock. So would love for an opportunity for the Pistons to get a win to put themselves one game under 500 and also get their revenge after dropping a game to the Hornets just a couple weeks ago. So in this video, we're going to go through, talk about three things that I will be looking to observe, and then talk about what I think the ticket to winning this game for the Pistons will be. So the first thing I will be looking out for is, can Jalen Duren dominate this game? Back when they first played the Hornets a couple weeks ago, I talked about in that preview video about how I think Jalen Duren could have a huge game due to the fact that the Charlotte Hornets are missing both of their main centers at this point in time, with Mark Williams and Nick Richards both being hurt. That time they started Taj Gibson at center, and I felt like that was a great matchup for Jalen Duren to be able to just run old man Taj Gibson off the floor. All the respect to Taj, but he is pretty washed at this point in his career. But unfortunately, we were not able to see that as Jalen Duren got hurt after playing just 7 minutes into that game, and we had to close out the rest of the game by playing Isaiah Stewart and Paul Reed exclusively at the center position. Since then, the Hornets have opted to go in a different direction, and now they're just starting Grant Williams at center. At least that's what it is on paper. Their starting lineup most recently consisted of LaMelo Ball, Grant Williams, Brandon Miller, and I forget who else, but just a couple other wing players. So they have gone ultimate small ball currently. And I think that that sets up an opportunity for Jalen Duren to just dominate on the glass and in the interior. And I really hope that we're able to see that in the game tonight. So moving on, the second thing I will be paying attention to is, are we able to slow down LaMelo and also their other perimeter players like Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller? That's one of the other starters is Bridges, of course. So in the game against the Hornets last time, all of their perimeter players were more or less able to get what they wanted against us. Miles Bridges finishes with 27 points the first matchup. LaMelo had 25 points, the majority of which were all in crunch time. And Brandon Miller had 19 himself, despite kind of a bad shooting night. So we really struggled to be able to slow down LaMelo down the stretch and Miles Bridges earlier in the game, and would love to see the Pistons do a better job of doing that in tonight's matchup, because I think they can. Overall, the Pistons have had a solid year defensively. I think that they have the players that are capable to slow these guys down. I just don't think that they were really able to do so. A lot of times they forced a switch to get Stewart to step out on LaMelo, and LaMelo really went to work in those situations. Would love to see us fight a little bit harder to avoid that. I know that that might not be a part of the game plan and part of the scheme, and JB might disagree with me, but really don't want to see LaMelo cook and stew or Duren on an island at all tonight if we can avoid it. Another side note is Ausar Thompson is doubtful for the game tonight, so there is a possibility he might play, and if he does, even if it's just for a short period of time, would love to see him be able to guard LaMelo or any of these perimeter players, because I think that even in his first game back, he probably has as good a shot as anybody on slowing these guys down. So the last thing I will be looking to observe is going to be, are we able to score the ball at the rim at will? Because I think there is an opportunity to do so. As we talked about with Jalen Duren having an opportunity to dominate on the glass, I think that our players like Jaden Ivey have an opportunity to get a gazillion rim touches and rim finishes, because they have no real rim protectors outside of that one young rookie they've been playing a little bit, and that's really that. I think that if they're going to go ahead and start Grant Williams at center on the books, that's a great opportunity for Jaden Ivey to put his head down and get to that rim as much as he possibly can. I think that there's a real world where Jaden Ivey has a 30-point game, all off of just getting blow-bys and there being no one at the rim to contest him. And I think that that would be an awesome thing to watch because you're not going to get many matchups like the Hornets where they are just absolutely in need of rim protectors. Most teams have at least one or two. All the Hornets have is that one young guy, that rookie who I'm really not familiar with yet, but outside of that, no Nick Richards, of course, no Mark Williams. He hasn't played in ages. No idea when he's coming back. And I think that just leads an opportunity for Jaden Ivey in particular, but for all of our guards like Cade as well, or even Holland, to get to the rim and finish at the rim at clips that they normally are not able to do because a lot of times they're going down in there and seeing 7-footers, which will not be the case very often tonight against the Hornets unless they decide to play that young cat like 35 minutes or something, which they might, but we'll see. So all those three things are really a combination of what I think is going to be the ticket to win. But I think the number one thing above all and the real ticket to win is just going to be slowing down LaMelo. Last time we played them, we put ourselves in a great position to win, and LaMelo was able to keep the Hornets fighting in this game. And I think that that will be the same story again tonight unless they come out with a better game plan on how to stop him. LaMelo Ball is having a fantastic year. He's third in the league in the NBA in scoring right now. When LaMelo Ball is on the floor and healthy, he's a problem. He is really tough to stay in front of. He's crafty. He's shifty. He can shoot it from deep. He's always doing the unexpected. And I think that if we can contain him and keep him under his average by a good clip, say if we can hold him to 21, 22 points and a bad shooting night, I think that is going to be a W for the Pistons. And I think that the Pistons can really use this win. I know that we had an opportunity to go to 500 last game, and a lot of us were very excited about that possibility, but I think the Pistons have a chance to get that back by this weekend because they're playing the Hornets, who are not exactly an all-world team. They are playing decent enough this year, but a winnable game at the very least. And then this weekend we get a chance to play the Magic without Banchero, who they've actually been winning without him, but again, not an all-world team. So would love the opportunity for the Pistons to get back to 500. If the Pistons get back to 500, I'll be a happy camper. I know that it's super early in the year, but as we've talked about on this channel, once we get into December, the schedule gets a lot harder. Currently, the Pistons have had to play a lot of games, back-to-backs, all of that type of stuff. The Pistons have played the most back-to-backs in the league as of today. But right now, we kind of have a nice stretch where we're getting more time off than we were seeing previously. We're not playing too many teams that are real-time contenders. But then once we get into December, we got some hard games coming up. And then once we get to the back half of December, we're on a West Coast trip during Christmas where we'll have to go see the Nuggets and Kings and Lakers and Suns. So getting as many wins in this little stretch as possible is going to be huge. And I think that they have a real chance to do it tonight against the Hornets. But let me know what you guys think, and we'll catch up soon.